Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going over a special election that is taking place today in the state of New Jersey, New Jersey's 11th Congressional Special Election. So this race is to fill a vacancy in the New Jersey's 11th District, and the winner will serve in the U.S. House of Representatives for the remainder of the term, and then another election will take place in November of 2026 for a full 2-year term. So the backstory of this race is this race became vacant on November 20th, 2025, when the then Democratic Representative Mikie Sherrill resigned to become the next governor of the state of New Jersey. She won the governor's election against Jack Sherrill in November 2025 by like 14.5%. The outgoing governor, Phil Murphy, announced the special election would be scheduled for April 16th, 2026, which obviously is today. And early voting for the general election will take place during a 9-day period between April 6th and April 14th. So by the time you're seeing this video, the early voting period has now been has now been done. Voters will have the option to cast their votes by mail if they would like. The primary elections were held on February 5th, 2026, and I'll be going over all of those results. So this race that is taking place today is between Democrat Analilia Mejia, Republican Joe Hathaway, and HFT party candidate Alan Bond. The markets show a very clear trend here that Mejia is going to be the Democratic candidate that wins, or Mejia is going to be the Democratic candidate that wins. She is a overwhelming favorite at 99, or even basically 99 to 1 to win this race. So obviously no doubt here that she looks like she's going to win. The early voting thus far, there's roughly about 83,000 ballots have been requested, 36,644 ballots returned, and the early voting was roughly 17,324. And they showed that in Morris County, roughly 22,680 of those ballots have been for the Democrats. In Passaic County, 3,625 for the Democrats, so 1,663. And no party was about 1,222. And then Essex County, overwhelmingly Democratic as well. So we're waiting for these results to come in later in the night. But this district overall is a pretty reliably blue district. In 2024, Mikie Sherrill won this district 56.53% to the Republican Joseph Belnome's 41.79%. As for the Cook PVI of this district, the 11th, is listed as Democrat +5, so right around a likely Democratic district for this race. Now, the Democrats in special elections have been outperforming the Republicans pretty much everywhere in the last year, really, or so, in 2025 and 2026 so far. So I'm expecting to see something probably similar to that as well. Now, in this race, it was actually very interesting. The Democratic primary, which took place on February 13th February 12th. It was very, very interesting because the last update was also April 1st, I just want to say. This race was super close, where Analilia Mejia won 29.3%. The former Democratic Representative Tom Malinowski got 27.57%, and Democrat Tahisha Way finished with 17.4%. So it was a very, very close race, a difference of roughly about 1,000 votes separating Mejia and Tom Malinowski. And the market odds for this race showed a race that looked like Tom Malinowski was probably going to win from very early on. It started out with Brendan Gill at 72, Tom Malinowski at 20. Mejia started out around 5%. Then right around December 2025, Brendan Gill was around 40, Malinowski's at 37.28, and things really skyrocket. Malinowski with around a 70% chance to win, fluctuating here and there, until about roughly February 5th or so, where Malinowski's at 85.8, Brandon Gill is at 22.08, and Analilia Mejia is at 4.19. And then things completely skyrocket here. Tom Malinowski's chances of winning plummet, and Analilia Mejia's chances of winning skyrocket up to a 96% chance of winning. And then the actual results that ended up coming in showed a total race of 29.33 for Mejia, 27.57 for Tom Malinowski, Tahisha Way 17.4, Brendan Gill finished with 14.16. And this is an important primary because this essentially decided how the race was going to go, given the Democratic overperformance in these special elections and how the district voted for Mikie Sherrill by roughly 15 points in November of 2024. How did it ultimately go? Well, Tom Malinowski won Morris County 31.97 to 26.08, overall netting roughly about 1,600 votes or so, 1,600 votes. And then in Passaic County, Analilia Mejia ended up winning here 25.74 to 24.66, only winning it by roughly about 4 votes. But the big reason that Analilia Mejia won was she won Essex County and won it 11,158 votes to 8,633. Overall, 7% percentage point across the district. So the margins of votes by Mejia here roughly getting a little bit over 3,000 or so votes, and the margin, or a little bit under 3,000 votes, and the margin of victory was enough to counterbalance the about 1,600 votes in Morris County and the only 4 votes in Passaic County. On that one, that ended up giving a difference of right around a little over 1,100 votes for Mejia to win against Malinowski in this one. As for the for this race and how it's going to go, fully expect Analilia Mejia will probably win this race and will win it by a pretty decent amount. Again, as the markets are showing, it is looking like to be a safe or pretty reliable Democratic win. It's a district that voted for Kamala Harris by 8.43% in the 2024 U.S. presidential race, and the Senate race voted 9.94 for Andy Kim, the Democrat, in that race as well. As for the general election, the winner of this race, expected to be the Democrat, will advance to the general election to run for the seat again in 2024. As for I believe the Republican candidate may be the same person. I think he did file a run for that race. He may file a run for it again. As for 2024, this is what the results looked like, where Sherrill won 56.53 to Joseph Balnome's 41.79. Now, overall, when you look at the shift here, Harris won it by 8.43, meaning Sherrill won it by 6.31% more than Kamala Harris did, and she also won it 4.8% more than Andy Kim did on the Senate side of things. So without Sherrill in the race, it'll be interesting to see, because this is a special election, which does favor the Democrats. Sherrill also won a Democrat plus 5 district by about 15 points. So the overall margins are going to be very interesting to see how this ultimately goes. But we're probably going to see something not too dissimilar to this map. Essex County goes blue, Passaic County may go narrowly red, and then Morris County will probably be the most competitive of all the counties, but will probably end up being Democratic as well. But we'll have to wait and see how that all goes. As for the general election, the only ranking that we have from prediction markets is Sabato's Crystal Ball, and they have it listed as safe Democratic as of December 14th, 2025. The polling in this race has only been one poll from in between March 8th and March 10th of 2026 from GBAO, a Democratic pollster aligned with Mejia's campaign, and it showed her winning 53%, Joe Hathaway at 36%, with 11% undecided. So obviously there's not been a ton of attention or interest on this race, mainly because I think it seems like a pretty solid slam dunk. The Democrats are going to win and win this race by a very large margin. As for what time the polls close, the polls close tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I don't anticipate once results start coming in, it's not going to take a very long time to see that the Democrat is probably going to win this race, and then we'll be serving out the remainder of this term through the November election in 2024 or in 2026, and running for the full term, in which again the expectations is she'll probably win then again as well. So that'll be interesting to just talk about really briefly, because there is a special election taking place tonight. It did kind of sort of come out of nowhere in terms of the attention. I feel like it hasn't been talked about too much, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts, and I hope to see you in a future video.